Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comically Incompetent. My name is Doug. This is a podcast where each week we take a movie, we take a beer, and we talk about it. This is our continuation of Merry Shrekmas for the month of December. This is, I think, the episode I was most excited for, and honestly, this movie is the reason we're doing all four. This is the best one. Undeniably the best of the movies. And to talk about that with me is a returning guest for all of Merry Shrekmas, Dom and Grayson. Guys, how you doing?
Glad to be back.
So good to be back talking about the greatest piece of art ever produced.
I would highly agree. Dom and I were talking before we recorded, and I think this is one of the few movies in the world that I would say, for what it is absolute perfection. No
Definitely.
doubt about it.
It's absolute perfection. I think it brings people together.
It does. It brought us together.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't matter how old you are. That's one of the themes of the entire Shrek series. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's always funny.
It's always the best.
There's so many adult references in this movie.
Seriously, there's a lot.
And it was still hilarious as a child. So, like we said, it's just like it's evergreen. It's an evergreen film. Whenever it's on, you can revisit it, and you'll have a good time.
And it just gets funnier. I don't know why it gets funnier every time. I've seen this movie constantly, and even just watching it today, I was just laughing the whole time still.
There's a certain tier of movie that, there's normal funny movie where you watch it and it's funny. There's funny movie that you watch it and you quote a little bit, like it's got some quotable lines. But then there's a movie like this where the more you talk about the movie, the funnier it becomes.
Absolutely.
It's like, for some reason, it's like, this, like maybe like Super Bad, Dumb and Dumber, like those movies where you can just like talk about them and then you're both just like busting up, pointing out different lines that maybe the other person didn't even remember, and then it's like, oh yeah, that part. Like it's just perfect. I
still quote Dumb and Dumber. That's one of the movies I probably quote the most in my life. But before we get too far into it, I just want to say our beer this week is from Beachwood Blendery. It is called We Are Who We Pretend to Be. And I thought that worked beautifully with the message of this film. We'll talk more about the beer at the end of the show, but I saw that beer and I was like, this is just too perfect for this movie. Because the whole point of the movie is like, Shrek doesn't feel that he's good enough, so he pretends to be something that he's not. But he is who he pretended to be, that perfect husband of what he wanted to be. That's who he is. And I love it. So let's dive into this movie. I mean, first of all, just the start of it. Our opening montage is beautiful. To Counting Crows, Accidentally in Love, which, by the way, bold choice, beautiful choice for this film.
I lived with a musician my senior year of college, in a house in Thousand Oaks, and I've never heard anybody be as aggressive as he was when he talked about his hatred for Counting Crows.
Why? They're amazing.
He thought Counting Crows was literal ear cancer. And, revisiting this movie, he couldn't be further from incorrect. Counting Crows is the perfect, nostalgic,
beautiful
late 90s, early 2000s music to me. It's just like, it reminds you of a simpler time.
Accidentally in Love playing over, I think, a montage of some of the greatest movie references.
Yes.
To Lord of the Rings, that scene where she's like pouring the rain in The Little Mermaid. I mean, there's just so many classic references in this montage, the opening scene alone. It's beautiful.
One for Dom, Spider-Man reference.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man references in there.
There's been like 6 Spider-Man movies since that reference.
But none of them have a reference of equal level.
Exactly. That's the most iconic Spider-Man moment still. Totally.
Yeah, easily. Tom Holland will never measure up to an upside-down Spider-Man kiss.
No, absolutely not.
And then before that scene, though, we get to meet one of our villains for the film. We get to meet Prince Charming as he goes up to rescue Fiona, but he's a little too late and walks in on what he calls the gender-confused wolf in the bed.
What?
I just love the Pork Illustrated swimsuit edition.
And he's eating pork rinds?
Yes, and he's eating pork rinds. That's one of those adult references that maybe you didn't catch as a kid.
The Pork Illustrated?
The Pork Illustrated swimsuit edition. I think that was one of the first, risque items that I had in my bedroom as like a ninth grader. It was like a Sports
Pork Illustrated?
swimsuit calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pork Illustrated. Dude, let me tell you, the cuts.
Cuts on that pork. I mean, like, what else? This movie's just perfection. Like, I don't want to take it beat for beat. Like, I just want to talk about.
I kind of do.
You want to take it beat for beat?
Yeah.
You guys want to do it?
Because
All right,
every
we'll do it.
beat is important.
All right,
Every
we'll
beat
do
is
it.
important in this movie.
We'll do
the
it.
last one we could bounce around a little bit. This one, I think we're gonna get too far off track if we don't go beat for beat.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. So what's next? Someone follow me. So we have our montage of Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man references to "Accidentally in Love" by the Counting Crows, which, by the way, is on my workout playlist.
Wait, can we get a deep dive into this workout playlist later?
How do you pump to Counting Crows?
How do you not? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Dude, it's just one of the. It fit so perfectly with the movie. But so we have our montage. We meet Prince Charming. Someone take it. Where do we go from here?
Oh, then we go back to the swamp. Is the next part. So Shrek and Fiona return from their beautiful, relaxing honeymoon to find a house guest.
A lot of dead plants.
And two dead fish named Shrek and Fiona. But that Shrek is a rascally devil.
Yeah, that's a great donkey scene. He picks up right where he left off. He's
Yeah.
somehow more annoying in this one, I think.
Oh,
In the
definitely.
first one, they definitely told Eddie Murphy to like play it up even more, and he just took that and ran with it.
Beautifully, I might add.
Yeah, and he's having marital troubles.
With Dragon, something's going on
Relationship
there.
troubles? They're not married. Really.
I don't know.
I don't know if
Did
it's
they-
official.
Did they conceive out of wedlock?
Can a donkey and a dragon legally marry in the state of far, far away?
Well,
that's the
they're
least
not in
of their
far,
problems.
far away. They're in the enchanted forest with squirrels and little bunnies.
Little bunny.
Yes. So we get that little intro or that re-intro scene to Donkey, and then an important message comes.
Yes, we have a man coming up with trumpeteers playing, and one of our favorite characters, Reggie, who goes a little too hard on his trumpet.
Do you know what song he plays?
I looked it up. I don't remember what it is. What is it?
It's the Hawaii 5-0 intro music.
I wish he was playing the drums too. So you go shoo 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 shoo.
Whose choice was that? Who was like, wouldn't it be really funny if you started playing the Hawaii 5-0 intro in
The
a
writers
kids
are.
movie?
They probably just had Hawaii 5-0 and like that's it.
The
We can
writers
do that.
were
Perfect.
in their bag for this movie.
Dude, this is one of the, like, it sounds like a joke at first, but honestly one of the most well-written movies. Every
Yes.
little bit of dialogue, that even so much that runs under the radar that you don't hear the first few times, like,
Yes.
a movie has to be so well written that you can watch it 10 times and go, I never even noticed that he said that, or that line goes there. It's perfect. This
This
movie
is
was
the
like,
funniest PG-rated movie of all time.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Definitely.
would I'd have to really go through it, but like just like thinking about it blindly, it might be the best PG or PG-13, like of all time.
It's the most intricately worked on. Every line has
Yes.
like a deeper meaning, and something like is a joke that you might not get right away. I love it.
Exactly. Reggie.
Enough, Reggie. I had to practice my rolling my R's before we did this. I knew we were gonna
You've
do
gotten
that.
good. Those were really good.
You purring?
Yeah.
So then Shrek and Fiona argue about going to far, far away, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
Shrek obviously is gonna lose. You know, you're when your wife says we're gonna go. I'm assuming you're gonna go. I'm not married, but I feel like the same situation happened. I'd be like, we're not going, and that's final. And then we'd obviously go because I have no say.
How did Donkey find his way in there?
I was gonna say that. Why was he just like, I'm going? Maybe because the marital problems with
Yeah.
Dragon, and he didn't want to be alone. Shrek didn't want him to be alone in the swamp.
A quick
In his house?
700-mile road trip via horse-drawn carriage.
At least that's just the first sign we see. Could be
Can
more.
somebody do the math on that? How long that would take?
To get to from the swamp to far, far away.
Where they go at like 20 miles an hour? 15?
If that.
At most, yeah, they look pretty slow.
I'd guess 7 to 10.
Oh,
Yeah. Take a few days for sure.
a little bit.
My thing is, you know how in the Lord of the Rings, people are like, why didn't the eagles just fly Frodo to Mordor? Why didn't Dragon just fly Shrek and Fiona and them to far, far away?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think she was Prager's.
That's true.
She might have been on bed rest.
She just... Well, it would be... Ooh, wait. Mammal and a dragon. Would that be eggs or would that be...
I feel like eggs.
These are the questions that we're not asking ourselves.
These are the hard-hitting questions that you tune into the Comically Incompetent podcast for. What did dragon birth out? Live donkey dragons? Dronkies?
Dronkies?
Probably half and half, right?
Yeah,
Half
they're
eggs, half
dronkies.
donkeys.
Some of them
Yeah.
were eggs. Oh,
The
God.
head, like the head's fully formed, but the body's still within a yolk. It's a deeply haunting image.
That's what we do here on the show.
Yeah.
Haunting imagery that will never leave your mind.
So then we get like a sort of like an Ice Cube, Are We There Yet kind of montage scene. That seems
Phenomenal film, by the way.
Yeah, Ice Cube, Are We There Yet? That's another one we're going to have to put on the list of never do a podcast on. But
Also, the straight-to-DVD sequel of Are We Done Yet, where they renovate
Oh,
the
God.
house.
The talking raccoon.
Exactly.
you guys already knew way more than I anticipated about that. Because I tapped out at Are We There Yet? Is like Romeo in that or something? I don't know.
It was, I
think
know the
so.
guy who plays Dr. Cox, John C. McGinley, is in that one. He's like the annoying neighbor who won't leave him alone. I've seen the movie once years ago.
Like, Ice Cube's career trajectory could be an entire podcast that we, like...
It's true.
He's
mean-
really gone a lot of different directions. He's a jack of all trades.
21 Jump Street, phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's amazing in those.
The Big
Wait.
Three League?
We're already way
Decent.
off track here.
Okay, anyways. So Donkey
Just
makes that noise.
annoys Shrek.
Annoys
and then
Shrek.
Shrek's like,
Classic.
are we there yet? Fiona's like, yes, we are. Which goes into, I think, one of the most in-depth background scenes when they're going through the city of Far, Far Away.
Seriously.
All the little jokes, like, instead of Old Navy, Old Knavery.
Yes.
Versace.
Versace,
That's what it is,
yeah.
yeah.
Baskin Robin Hoods instead of Baskin
Yeah.
Robbins.
What's the Starbucks? I don't remember.
I don't remember
Is
either.
it just Starbucks?
I think it
I think it was just Starbucks.
But
They were already on every block, every street corner at that point.
they are, and they reference that, and toward the end when Mongo's like going through the city,
Yes.
and they all run out of one Starbucks into the one across the street.
So funny. So good.
This
Yeah,
movie
no,
picked
just-
up on beautiful social cues.
I think the best thing also, one of the underappreciated things is that the carriage is an onion.
Another
Perfect.
turning the
This is
Disney
perfect.
stereotype on its head.
Yeah, instead of the beautiful pumpkin carriage or whatever. What did Cinderella ride in?
I think it was a pumpkin.
It
Yeah, it
felt
was a
like
pumpkin.
pumpkin-esque. Yeah, just like
A gourd?
an onion. Yeah, a gourd. That's right. I believe it was a gourd. If
my math is
it's
correct.
a very long gourd. But riding in an onion, which I kind of want, like, I want to ride in an onion.
Yeah, which I love that they're riding in an onion all the way up to the castle. No one's caught on at this point that something's off. Like, they're riding in an onion, and everyone's
Yeah.
like, it's the
yeah.
princess. It's like, how is no one catching on to this? But I love how they're going through, like, Beverly Hills.
Yes.
And there's a shot of, like, Rapunzel's house, and her hair is spread all over, like, the land. And then there's Cinderella. She has the gated house with, like, the glass slipper as, like, the icon on her, like, fence. They love, like, they're all celebrities living in, like, the Beverly Hills area of, like, Far, Far Away. I love the Hollywood references in this. It's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. And then they finally arrive.
Which, they have that scene of some of the best intercutting of dialogue. Is when they're walking up and, I can't remember exactly what the dialogue is, but he's like, are you? And
This
they
is
cuts to
going
Shrek. He's
to
like,
be
happy
a
now?
Disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, with Fiona's parents.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which, can we talk about the actors they got? Because we talked about in the last episode of how, all-star cast. But the additions to this movie of Antonio Banderas, John Cleese, I think Dame Julie Andrews, like,
Yeah.
and all-star additions. I mean, Rupert Everett playing Prince Charming.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Jennifer Saunders playing the fairy godmother, and may I say, doing her own singing for this movie as the fairy godmother. True
Did
talent.
she win a Tony?
No, she should have. But this was, I think, the first sequel to be nominated for Best Animated Feature in the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
The
Who
first
won?
time a sequel had been. Did it win?
No, I don't think so.
Probably some Disney movie probably beat it out
Yeah.
in 2004.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
four.
fuck Disney. I'm kidding.
It was the highest grossing film of 2004 worldwide, though.
Why wouldn't it be? It's a genius.
Let the people vote.
Don't
demand
silence
a
our
recount.
voices. Stop the count.
We are anonymous.
It was Finding Nemo.
It was Finding Nemo.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
right. I mean,
you're going
that
up
was-
against Finding Nemo. It's understandable.
It was a
Hot
good
take,
movie.
average movie.
It's
All right,
I can-
listeners,
I can
we have
see
our
that.
hot take of the week.
Yeah. TM, Grayson. There is a better bond between Mongo and Gingy than there is between Marlin and Nemo.
oh,
Changed
God.
my mind.
I can't, because when you really think about it, like, how much screen time does Marlin and Nemo have together? Probably about the same as Mongo and Gingy.
Exactly. And which relationship do you buy more? Mongo.
I mean, just looking at this picture of Mongo blessing Dom's shoulder, I have to say, it might be... it might be
just
that
saying.
one.
We're talking about the Shrek trilogy right now. We're not talking about Finding Nemo.
Quadrilogy.
Quadrilogy.
Come on, there's 4. Shrek Forever After. We gotta get
Oh,
there.
God.
I mean, just getting into the cat, we have that amazing scene in the dining room where Donkey comes on in, and I love that Shrek is like thinks the hand washing thing is soup, but I love that Donkey knows that it's to wash his hands, so he's like dipping his hooves in.
Do you think Donkey's been a part of high society?
I like to think so. I like to think that he comes from money, but chose a life outside of that. That's
Yeah.
what I believe.
See, I was thinking the dragon taught him. She civilized him.
She seems high class.
Absolutely.
She seems high class.
She is rather classy. You can tell it's an expensive shade of lipstick she has on her mouth.
Easily. I mean, she's blowing smoke rings, and I mean that's class. That's high society. That's something I'll never know.
Look at you sipping.
This wonderful
s-
beer by the Beachwood Blendery.
Yes. So then they finally they finish that. My favorite part of that dinner scene, by the way, is when everybody's just like calling everybody else out, and then Donkey just goes, "Donkey!"
It's too good. It's just too good.
It's delightful.
And I love the
and then-
imagery. I was gonna say of Shrek when he's at the dining room. The first cuts to him in the dining room, and the eagles like talons like right behind his head. It's
We
too
often
good.
feel. I think that's kind of like an evergreen moment in the human experience, though, meeting the in-laws for the first time. It's always a
Yeah.
little nerve-wracking, and that's just about the worst it could possibly go.
Yeah,
Yeah, if your in-laws are royalty.
and you're the farthest thing from royalty. That's like, I love the class issues that this movie brings up.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
kind of like
something.
Pretty Woman, which it references later.
Dude, this movie is referencing constantly. Like everything
never
is a
stops.
subtle reference to something else, and it's beautiful. That's how the best way I can describe this movie. It's just beautiful. It's art. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. I'm gonna say the same adjectives over and over again because that's just what it is. We'll get there.
Monster infested.
Yep, monster infested.
Another movie.
We'll get there. We'll get the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
And then, yeah, the next scene, Shrek is in Fiona's childhood room.
This is the introduction of someone
Yes.
very important. Dom, take that away. Who do we meet in this scene?
Wait, in this scene?
It's when the fairy godmother comes in. She does her song.
Oh, yeah. Wait,
We meet
my
Kyle.
mind is blanking. Yeah, okay, it is Kyle. I thought
Yeah.
we meet him later with
No,
No, we meet Kyle right
I just
away.
watched this movie. I
Yeah.
already forgot.
When she comes in, she's like, "Here comes my sweet melody. I
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
every princess needs."
And she sees Shrek.
Yeah. I love
My
it.
girlfriend watched this with me last night, and she was like, "Wait, is Shrek 2 a musical?"
It might as well be.
I was like, "It kinda is, now that you mentioned it."
Has she never seen Shrek 2?
She's like, "I didn't remember Shrek 2 as much as I thought I remembered Shrek 2," and I was like, "That's why you need to watch this movie annually."
Constantly.
Yeah,
Just to make
like,
sure you get
yeah.
everything.
This is an every year kind of movie.
Yeah, this is the scene where we get to meet Kyle, and she says something like, "Be chauffeured by a man named Kyle," and he's just there in his shirt that says Kyle and like bedazzling.
It's like sparkled and beautiful.
I love it.
We get the sentient furniture.
You want to dance, pretty boy?
That's later.
It's later, I know, but I
That's
just
later.
love
They're
that.
still jolly. The furniture is still jolly.
When he's like, "You want to dance, pretty boy?"
Yeah, and it makes sense why the furniture was bitter toward Shrek, because he kind of interrupts the dancing montage.
They probably
Yep.
worked really hard on it, to be honest.
I know.
How long they rehearsed that
Hmm.
in preparation for Prince Charming?
Weeks. Minimum.
I thought they'd only be able to do square dancing, because they're square.
So anyway, does Shrek find Fiona's dowry now, or is that later?
No,
I think
that's,
that comes a
not.
little-
That's in that's in the sleepy scene.
Yeah, it was like right after this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I had a question. So he opens up her diary and sees that her parents sent her off to the castle,
Yeah.
and Prince Charming was going to rescue her. So she knew that since she was a kid. So how long was she waiting for? Was she waiting for specifically that guy named Prince Charming?
I think that her parents told her a Prince Charming will come save you, but I think that she was not told that his name was literally Charming.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
think
a
that
good
was what
name.
it was. I mean, yeah, I think that
It was a
what the whole
classic
thing.
mix-up.
Yeah, I think she was just told generically, a Prince Charming will come save you. But then not knowing that her dad and the fairy godmother had set up literally Prince Charming, his name will come and save you.
An arranged marriage.
It
Took
really
a
was.
sweet time to get there.
He did.
really
He just
did.
took his time.
That was his own fault.
You know why? He didn't have that montage of the song that goes, "I'm on my way."
Yeah. So who would they? Okay, let's like power rank all three of her potential partners: Shrek, Lord Farquaad, Prince Charming.
I mean,
Well,
First,
based on what?
ranking based on how the father would perceive them. Second ranking based on how Fiona would enjoy them. I think she would have a very happy marriage with Lord Farquaad.
I don't agree for reasons that are
She'd feel really good about herself because
Well,
he's so short.
obvious and for reasons I can't say on a relatively family-friendly podcast. I don't think that he would live up to what she would need. I think that of the father's approval, Farquaad would be probably one of the higher ones, if not the highest one of, because he's a king.
Yeah.
He's a king of Duloc.
yeah, that's a business decision at that point.
Yeah. Honestly, that could have expanded the father's kingdom.
That's a business selling his daughter off for a business.
He kind of did. So
Is
does
this Game of
Fiona-
Thrones?
I don't remember. Does Fiona ever come around and say, like, when she keeps defending her father's actions, saying it was for my own good?
I think she does.
I don't think we
know.
ever see
I
it.
don't know if she specifically
I don't
says
think
that.
she ever really comes around and says, like, hey, yeah, that was probably not for my own good.
Yeah, she thinks it's just some sort of finishing school they're sending her off to.
No, turns out.
It's not. Which, then we get a beautiful scene of Cameron Diaz saying the phrase Princess Fiona Charming in as many ways as humanly possible. And we forgot to talk about the first of the Justin Timberlake references.
Yes, Sir Justin.
Sir Justin.
Wait, there's more than one? I
'Cause
only
he's
knew
in-
that one.
Shrek
He's
the
in the
third.
third one.
Oh, yeah.
First use of Justin Timberlake that we get to see.
Yeah.
Which, I was looking up some trivia of this movie, and they didn't know, I guess in real life, Cameron Diaz and Justin Timberlake had like just started dating or something in real life when they put the reference in.
Really?
I don't know. I don't.
2004 was crazy.
Dude, 2004 was nuts.
Weren't Brad and Angelina together too?
Probably.
They had
What
the
time?
will they, won't they, Brangelina versus Brennifer.
Brennifer.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what? Okay. Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt.
Yes, Brennifer. Duh.
I was thinking you're making like a Witcher reference, the Yennefer.
Yes, that too.
Oh, yeah. This is. I mean, I love it. Then that's when the king comes in and is like, he pretends to make amends, but we
Yeah.
also forgot that between that scene and this scene is when the king first goes to that shady bar in the middle of the woods where we get Captain Hook I like my town
That was
with a
pretty
little
good.
drop of poison.
Dude, Captain Hook, I wish we could have made him the winner of the Far, Far Away Idol.
We'll talk
Because
about
that
that.
man is soulful.
We will talk about
He
Far
can
Far
play
Away
piano.
Idol.
He's so good. And that scene is great.
I like when he's like ugly. Like I'm looking for the ugly stepsister, and he turns around, and it's just like,
Yeah, there's a guy.
who's the guy? Who's the guy?
Who's the guy?
It's probably my favorite part.
No,
Second favorite
my
part.
favorite
Yeah.
part is the frog. That's clearly a reference to something.
Yeah.
Do I know you?
No, you must be mistaken.
Yes. I think that was a clear reference to adult activities.
And him being a frog. Just they did something
Oh.
together.
They they hit the old lily pad late at night.
But can we just talk about the fact that Larry David voices the ugly stepsister?
He does.
Yeah, that's Larry
What?
David.
I
didn't
did
know
not
that.
know that was Larry David.
Yeah, not Larry David. Larry King. Larry King.
Oh.
Sorry, Larry King.
Okay. I was
It's
like,
Larry
his
King.
voice is way too deep.
Yeah, I like the part when he's like,
I want it to be Larry
yeah,
David.
yeah, it's
so
Larry
bad.
King. Sorry, I like the part where he's like, Frank, there's one guy who could do his ass like that, and frankly, he don't like to be disturbed. Like, why is her voice
Why
like
is she a mafia member?
that? He made her that, and that's when we met our amazing addition to this series, Antonio Banderas' I think all-star role. Puss in Boots.
Every movie that makes a sequel, there's always a character edition. I feel like they always try and make like a little character edition that the audience loves. Every single movie has been trying to reach the level of Puss in Boots
No one's got
since
there.
04, and nobody's even gotten close. Everybody, Star Wars tried to introduce those cute little things.
Porgs.
Yeah, porgs. Like everybody always tries
Yeah.
to introduce like the cute, lovable, like the. I guess this wasn't the first one, but like the minions, like those kind of like
Yeah.
offshoot characters that like aren't part of the main story, but they're still in there and they're like comedic relief. Nobody has even gotten close to Puss
In Boots. Antonio Banderas. You are
Antonio.
told correct.
Yes. Antonio Banderas, he was really on a murderer's row of films. I think this was like right smack dab in the middle of Spy Kids, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have been. Was he doing kids movies? Like, because maybe he had just had kids. That's what a lot of actors who do more serious roles like start taking kid
Yeah.
roles because they want their kids to be able to watch their movies.
Yeah.
Like I know like certain actors like had started doing like more like family friendly roles. Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson started doing more kid friendly roles.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler when he started doing bedtime stories and classic Jack and Jill. We'll get there on the podcast.
Bedtime story. Forgot that movie existed.
I've never actually seen it.
Oh,
I've
God.
seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Antonio Banderas killed it. I mean,
Seriously.
no one was going to voice Puss in Boots better than Antonio Banderas.
What was the writer's room like when they just came up with that character? Because that is the greatest. Like I said, it's the greatest like side character in cinematic history for my money.
Easily. And then when
Um,
he first jumped Shrek and Donkey in the forest,
It's so funny.
which I think Grayson's favorite line, the one I hear, not maybe not favorite line, but the one I hear you quote the most, when Shrek and Puss in Boots become friends.
Oh, Donkey, look at him in his little boots.
I probably heard you
Little
quote that the
boots.
most.
It is a line. I did it again last night when I rewatched it. Every time I watch this movie, I rewind that line 4 times because I laugh every single time. Near tears.
Beautiful.
It's so good.
I just love that they immediately become friends after he attacks them.
He's so cute.
He is. He does that little big eyes, and this viewing I had a different view of it because I have an orange tabby now, and so to look at him like, oh, look at my little cat when he's looking all cute. It's
Uh-huh.
great. I love
So,
it.
I just love that line. I love the instant friendship, the instant
Yep.
bond, and then how Donkey instantly becomes terribly jealous.
They're immediately close. He was never close with Shrek. Shrek didn't take to him as quickly. That's gotta be just horrible. And they're like gossiping about him, and they're like should be whispering in the ear. He's like, oh really? Turns around and looks at Donkey. Like that's horrible. I understand where Donkey's coming from because like if the three of us were walking down the street and you two were whispering to each other, then look back at me laughing, I would be like, what? I'd be so furious. I understand where Doggy's coming from on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be a little bit upset. Also be upset if I found out that my father-in-law paid to have me murdered. I'd be a little upset.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see when that happens to me.
It would really grind my gears.
And I think this goes into my second favorite scene in this movie is when they go to the fairy godmother's factory. I love that. He's like, we're from the Union.
They don't even have dental.
We represent all magical employees, both evil and benign.
Are you feeling at all neglected? A little.
Right, yes, fairy godmother, rative.
He's just the stereotypical assistant receptionist that's like so full of sass for absolutely no reason. Instantly.
It's beautiful. I just love that. I love he's like, they don't even have dental. All right, we're gonna take a look around. And like hikes up his belt.
Yeah. I like to picture fairy godmother kind of like a Devil Wears Prada Meryl Streep.
It's exactly
Yes.
how I picture it.
Yeah, like that's the exact kind of boss that she is.
I like that this is the second Devil Wears Prada reference you made on this podcast, and we have never talked about Devil Wears Prada as a movie.
Yeah,
gonna
our
have to.
loss. This is a great movie.
It is. I agree. But I think you made the reference like Captain America.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, when we were talking about
Stanley
Tucci,
Tucci, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole scene is just perfect. I mean, I love all the references in this scene. And this is when I think Fairy Godmother is probably this is when you start to see like a heart, because like if you see a turn in her before when she kidnaps the king and tells him her whole plan. But this one she's like just completely a jerk to Shrek and is like you don't deserve a happy ending. She does.
No
like starts warping with his mind. Yeah.
And she's like maniacally cackling over a love potion
Yeah.
and a hint of lust.
I like that I like that
was
the lust
torqued.
comes in like a bleach bottle. It's the same logo as like Clorox bleach. She's pouring it.
One thing I gotta give to this movie is the villain's so good. Like
Yes.
I heard a quote earlier today, basically said the hero can only be as good as the villain is bad.
Yeah.
Our villain's real bad.
She is. She's actually, I'd say, more of a villain than half the villains we have in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we just covered.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so power ranking. Where are we putting her?
I mean, above Ironmonger, above Killmonger, above the Mongers,
She's
above
somewhere-
Yellow Jacket, above like all those like above Jude Law and Captain Marvel. I don't remember his character's name. He's Jude Law.
Yeah,
Like-
Jude Law. This is outside of the MCU, but still in the realm of fantasy. She's sort of Dolores Umbridge-esque.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, instantly hateable, but, like, kind of has the facade of cheeriness. Like,
Yeah.
she's trying to help you, but she's actually, like, a horrid person.
Yeah, which I think is funny because like I like the fact that they took like the classic Disney fairy godmother but put a spin on that she's running a business and she's like an evil businesswoman on top of
Yes.
like being an evil fairy godmother. I love
Yeah,
that
it's about, like,
addition.
the evils of capitalism.
It is. The potions she's making and
Yeah.
selling off to people and stuff. And then I like this part. If you read all the little potions when Puss in Boots is climbing the shelves, there's one I think called labeled like Viagra. Or like there's puns like toadstool softener.
Yes.
And then Donnie's like, yeah, that's what saves marital problems. A good BM.
Honestly, my mom might say it would. Have you guys ever had a good BM?
Oh yeah, best
Right
part of
before
your-
Really,
this.
it really turns your day around.
Literally minutes before we got in the Zoom call.
Sometimes you're like in a bad mood. So for those of you who don't know, I'm like a physical therapist, and I've been working in a skilled nursing facility for the last 3 months.
Where's this going?
One things I notice about my patients instantly turn around the minute they have a good BM. It's things you take for granted as a young buck. When you become an old bull, maybe retired, you know, they don't come around as often. You got to appreciate what you got.
Harder to come. Fewer and farther between.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very
Exactly.
accurate.
And it's like when you if you give your girlfriend flowers every day, they're gonna stop being special at a certain point. That's why you give them flowers every so often. Then it like really cheers them up.
Or never.
Or never. Yeah. Then they just don't even have anything to compare it to.
Exactly.
What are we talking about? BMs?
Toadstool softener.
Yeah.
And then this is when we get the potion happily ever after when Puss goes, beauty divine. Just amazing. And then they get the potion. They have this
A real cat burglar.
little Mission Impossible reference where he's like, dude,
Yes.
puts like the glass and it's pulls the
Two
glass
Mission
out.
Impossible references in this movie.
Yeah, that's the first one. But the song that's playing as they're escaping the factory is also an amazing song. It's not one I can literally remember off the top of my head right now, but I remember thinking like, wow, this is another great pick for
I
this
was
movie.
about to say I can't remember the song right now for some reason.
I can't either. But it was a great thing. I love the references in that scene as they're like the potion goes flowing through and then they have two people turned like the characters from Beauty and the Beast, the clock and the candlestick. Or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone else turns into birds.
Yeah, all the doves. I love that they're still like sentient doves.
Yeah.
Once again, how do they not get sued?
Because
They're not unionized.
Yeah.
Obviously.
They don't even have dental.
They don't even have dental.
And then this is where Shrek and Donkey go, and they take the potion, the happily ever after potion, and turn into just some sexy beings.
Okay, so another question. So when Shrek takes the potion, he transforms. Fiona also transforms.
Yeah.
But Donkey also took the potion.
Does
So
the
what
dragon.
did the dragon turn into?
I looked this up. Apparently, in the original version of the script, Dragon was supposed to play a lot bigger of a role. So I guess Dragon was going to turn into a Pegasus.
Oh.
So even they cut the dragon part out of the movie, but I think we can safely assume that that still would be canon, and that Dragon turned into a Pegasus for a little while there. Probably
So
confused as hell.
Shrek is in the Hercules cinematic universe, which is also in the Marvel cinematic universe, which means that Shrek is part of the MCU.
Yes.
Fiona's a Disney
Because
princess.
of the yes, Fiona's
Yes.
a Disney princess. Because of the presence of Pegasi.
Absolutely.
I'll buy it. I'll bite.
Yeah, thank
Yep.
you.
We're in. We'll do
You
it.
know what? It just came to me right now. You see the wheels are churning.
I love the scene where he wakes up and there's the women in there.
Yeah.
I'll be true enough.
The Jack and Joe. I fetched you a pail of water. Cute round, or cute taut buttocks.
Yeah, tot round buttocks. That's another line that I constantly.
Cute
Constant.
button nose. Thick wavy locks.
I'm a stallion, baby. What do you guys think Puss in Boots would have turned into? Because I don't think he can get any more cute or handsome.
I thought about that. I think my
Would
guess
he
would
just
be
turn into a fully formed Antonio Banderas? Juan Decimo?
One DC.
He just turns into Juan Decimo.
that would be outstanding. Another Fairly Odd Parents reference for the audience if you don't know. My thought was he turned like a lion or something.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say a tiger because he's orange.
Yeah.
I don't
Boring.
know why I thought Juan Decimo, but I did.
Yeah, and then I love the scene where Donkey's like, I can whinny, I can count. And he starts counting on the ground. I like that he didn't know how to count before.
Donkey is, he's a hot horse, man.
Yeah. And then they go through the town, and the song changes.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. The use of music, unbelievable. This is a la Guardians of the Galaxy use of music throughout this film.
Which we do get one of the Guardians of the Galaxy songs in Shrek. Was it Far, Far Away Idol? But we'll get there. Yes, and then we have the scene. I think probably one of my favorite shots. One of my favorite scenes, probably like third favorite, is when she's like, Shrek, and then Puss in Boots is licking his crotch. He's like, "For you, baby, I could be."
Why couldn't she heard Shrek's voice, and then
Yeah.
Prince Charming comes up. She like knows, but she doesn't instantly know.
Yeah.
Cause like she hears Donkey's voice, she recognizes that. But like, I feel like that's the reason, because she heard Shrek's voice in that one scene, is why she never really buys it. That plus he's a total ham.
Yeah.
He's not at all like Shrek in any way.
He might be like one of those, like the worst people. But-
Yeah.
Like just like not like a villain, just one of the worst like people I've ever like.
I feel like
seen.
he's more just a bad product of
Yeah.
the fairy godmother. 'Cause
Yeah.
She wants to seize power,
Fairy godmother.
get him into the family.
She babies him so much. It's like he gets like I want a medieval meal. She's like, one medieval meal. This comes to the medieval meal. She gives him the axe.
Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely just like a sheltered little pretty boy that has been given everything in his entire life
Yeah.
because he's hot.
He's Prince Charming.
And he has a very good. Who's his dad?
I don't know.
Do you think that he was conceived, or do we think that he was built?
Yeah, maybe he was just brought
I
to
think
life.
he was just brought to life.
That's true. Yeah. I think I would agree with that. That would make a lot of sense too, of why he's like just such an uncultured swine.
But he does have, what is it, cherry lip gloss that he wears. So he's pretty cultured.
That's true. You're right. I'm an asshole. Sorry.
Yeah, some shimmering lips equal culture.
And he can't do the back of his own hair.
No.
You remember? She's like, someone always has to do the back of your hair. He goes, oh, thank you, mother.
He probably has poor shoulder mobility. I'd iron that out for him if he came to PT.
Okay.
Regardless, Shrek realizes that he needs to let Fiona go.
Yes.
Apparently.
Gets captured by Fairy Godmother.
And that's when we get the line from the cabinet.
Yeah, you want to dance, pretty boy. And I think is the knights like cops
Yes.
scene?
They're back at Shrek's house
Holy
watching TV.
Shit, this is art.
This scene is another one, along with the wee little boots that I have to rewind several times over because there's so many things that you don't catch the first time. You have to rewatch the scene 5 times.
Yeah, because it's Pinocchio and the Three Mice and the Wolf and Gingerbread Man sitting there watching TV. They're watching Fiona's like wedding thing that's being hosted by Joan Rivers, like the actual Joan Rivers for some reason.
R.I.P. Gone too soon.
I know. And they change the channel and then it's instead of cops it's knights and like a white Bronco going down.
Yes, the O.J. Simpson reference that like in a children's movie, like this is the stuff we're talking about.
And it's not even relevant. It's 10 years after the O.J. thing too.
Yes.
It wasn't even relevant when the movie came out.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
I love the white Bronco, and then they're pepper spray him and they're just twisting cracked pepper into his eyes.
Kind of.
Yeah, that was gonna say my favorite line is when he just pulls out the catnip and it's like it's like blurred.
Yeah, it's not mine.
It's not mine.
I love that scene. Oh my god! And Donkey's being beaten. It's like police brutality.
Yes, police brutality.
I don't.
Talk about cultural
I
relevance.
was gonna say I don't like the 2020 relevance in that scene, but
Still.
that scene was oh my, and they're throwing in the back. He's like, "I'm her husband, Shrek. I'm Shrek," and then it cuts to him like getting pepper sprayed again, and then it cuts to all the fairy tale creatures in Shrek's house. Like,
We have the breakout, right? Right after that.
I think it's like Fiona and them, and then that's when the dad tries to give Fiona the love potion, but then
Yes.
we go to the breakout scene.
Mission Impossible reference.
And
Pinocchio's.
Pinocchio, yeah.
Wearing ladies' underwear.
Say Pinocchio, tell a lie. Say you're wearing ladies' underwear. I'm wearing ladies' underwear. Are you?
I most certainly am not. I distinctly remember seeing this movie in theaters. That was the line that made me laugh the hardest when I was in whatever 4th grade, I think.
I most certainly am not. It's a thong.
It's a thong. Like, how did they get away with that in a PG movie?
It's briefs.
That was the line that had me cackling when I was
Beautiful.
when I was 10 and I saw this movie. And it still has me cackling as a 26-year-old all these years
It's
later.
beautiful. And then I like this part where then Gingerbread Man, he's like, now we're up Chocolate Creek without a popsicle stick. And then it's just because of, Dom chose the right picture. I want Dom to talk about that scene where we get one of the greatest character additions of all time.
It's absolutely my favorite part of the movie. We get Mongo. They go to the gingerbread, or not gingerbread,
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man. Go to the Muffin Man's place and they bake up this monstrosity and they storm the castle.
I love he's like, Ginger, do you still know the Muffin Man? Well, sure, he's down on Drury Lane.
What does he say? He's like, we got a big order to fill.
Yeah.
It's alive! And then we get Mongo. Go, Mongo.
Mongo.
Good.
Oh.
Mongo with the when they pour like the hot steamed milk on him. More heat, less foam. He has like a colonial era wig on him.
One line. So before we get to that, we were talking about there's that scene where they have like the red carpet going into the party.
Yes.
And before that scene came up, like right before she says it, I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, "Can I get a whoop whoop?" And then Fairy Godmother comes out, and she's like, "Can I get a whoop whoop?" Yeah, they go in the part.
It's amazing women like us.
This is where we get, I think, my favorite scene in all 4 movies. I want to talk about the best scene, the best cover of a song, the best singing put in a movie, the best musical number out, even including all musicals everywhere in the world. Jennifer Saunders playing the Fairy Godmother singing "I Need a Hero." As we get Mongo storming the castle is probably one of the greatest music montages of any movie ever made. And I stand by that, not even as a joke. I'm legitimately serious. That's one of the greatest musical numbers ever in a movie. Oh my God.
The antagonist singing "I Need a Hero," singing a cover that is better than the original.
It's better than the original. It just is.
During the climactic action scene, in beat with every scene of increased tension. Like, it sounds like a joke, but this is a perfect use of music.
Art.
Yes.
Art. And that's when we get more heat, less foam. And then
No.
his arms break. He goes down to Gingerbread Man. No.
Dives
He
after.
needs me.
I teared up a little. To be honest.
You do. Mongo, he doesn't die, but he goes down. It's heartbreaking.
Well, he might eventually. If you ever leave
Yeah.
a cookie in the milk too long and then it just gets a little mushy.
Yeah, he just died slowly.
It was
Yeah. But gingerbread cookies, like, sometimes those things be stale. Like,
He's freshly baked. He's fresh
Yeah,
out of the Muffin Man's
that's
home.
true. That's true.
Yep.
Did he have time to cool down? That maybe if we would have given him some more time to cool down, his arms wouldn't have broken off.
I think, I like to think that him being a magical cookie, I think we get to transcend physics.
I think they needed him as a martyr in order to complete this mission, though.
I think in the same way that we get Tony Stark snapping his fingers saying, "I am Iron Man," I think we have Mongo risking his arms and life for Shrek.
Well, life later on. Because I don't think that they have the technology at this point to power lift him out of the water.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. I think instead of, we need a supercut Tony Stark. Instead of saying, "I am Iron Man," he says, "Be good," as he snaps his fingers. The second to last line we get from Mongo in this movie.
Yeah, we'll have the R&D team on that Photoshop ASAP.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Underpaid, but overutilized. It's me. I'm the person.
Yeah, it's literally Doug.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. This is the greatest scene in the movie.
Yeah.
This is the greatest scene in any of the 4 movies. And I'm counting, except for there is one great scene in 3 that we'll get to. But
Yes.
nothing compares to this. I mean, it's a beautiful... I mean, you get Prince Charming and Fiona dancing, and she's onto him, right? And he's being all Prince Charming-y, and it's kind of cut between them dancing and her trying to fight off his advances, and Shrek trying to get to her by breaking into the castle. Puss in Boots, "Now I repay my debt," as he fights off the guards. So I love that the guards don't actually swing the swords in. They kind of just
Yeah.
wiggle at him in front of his little rapier.
What is Prince Charming's accent supposed to be? It's so ludicrous.
British?
Pretentious.
It's like the most pretentious British accent I've ever heard in my entire life.
Oh, thank you, mother.
The magic changed a lot of things.
Cherry. And, I mean, just this whole scene is, you get Puss in Boots repaying his debt. Donkey sliding across the floor as he's like,
Yes.
jumping over people, being just an absolute stallion, literally.
And then the fairy tale creatures fighting the fairy godmother.
Yes. That's
Pigs in a
that,
blanket.
I was hoping somebody was gonna say the line.
Yeah, so that's when they get there and they start trying to. The plan is Shrek. Now Fiona knows the real Shrek, and they start fighting out the fairy god. That's when Pinocchio. I'm a real boy. I'm a real boy. It's just beautiful. There's just God, it's just amazing.
It really, truly is. This is just a very rewarding final scene.
Yes,
I'd say they obviously have the ultimate sacrifice made. We come full circle, the relationship of Shrek and the father-in-law, the king.
Yeah.
And we see maybe why he was, a little upset because he saw a bit of himself in Shrek. A little, I don't belong here anyway. I don't belong here either, so you definitely don't belong here.
Because he's a frog. So what?
He's a frog the whole time.
Can someone explain? Was he a frog when they met, or was he a frog? Maybe fell in love with the queen, and then that's when, as a frog, he went to the fairy godmother, maybe to turn himself into a human.
Was he a human that was cursed to turn into a frog?
Yeah, that's what my
Or was he a
curiosity
frog
is.
that turned into? I like to think that he was a frog, and that the queen just sort of has some sort of, frogophilia. I didn't know how to put that, and frogophilia just felt right. She had some sort of frogophilia going on, and then she was pleasantly surprised when he turned out to be a human, or maybe
now he's
disappointed.
Well, now he's a frog, and they seem more. She says the line, "You're more that man now than you ever have been." Like more a good man now. Now he's a frog, and she obviously still loves him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a line where Donkey's like, and he was judging you, and it's like it's true the whole time. The dad like Grayson was saying, the dad hated Shrek because he was an ogre, but really the dad was a frog.
Mm-hmm. He hated himself.
Yeah, I think that was where that was. He didn't feel like he was good enough for his wife, so how could Shrek ever be good enough for Fiona?
Yes.
Very relatable.
Gingy never felt good enough for Mongo.
Gingy was more than enough for Mongo.
You take that back. You bite
Don't
your
you
tongue.
dare.
Puss in Boots.
Yeah, so we wrap up the movie, right? We're all okay, and I think probably the singing scene.
I'm
about to say the second greatest musical number in
Yes.
this movie. Antonio Banderas and Eddie Murphy singing "Livin' La Vida Loca."
If there's one request I have in life, I think I've said this to you boys before.
You have. We know exactly
I
what
want
you're gonna say.
Eddie Murphy and Antonio Banderas to sing at my wedding.
Just "Livin' La Vida Loca."
How much could they cost? Realistically speaking,
A lot.
how much do I need to spend to book Eddie Murphy and Antonio Banderas to sing one single song at my wedding?
I mean, maybe if you pretend like you're sick,
Yeah.
we could make a wish this.
Good idea. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm glad that we went through this because I hadn't even thought of that angle yet.
Well, I think that's a last resort, obviously.
It's my wish.
I love the references in this scene. We get Flashdance and go dancing in the rain, and Puss in Boots goes and pulls the lever, all the water splashes on him.
Erotic.
Oh god! And then just the dance. Everyone's dancing. Everyone has a good time. The ugly stepsister starts making out with Prince Charming. He's like, would she say something like "Hey, pretty boy," and this like jumps him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aggressively makes out with him.
Beautifully though, artistically.
It's what we all were waiting for. The love story that actually wasn't being told but needed to be told all along.
This movie is. I mean, again, I think it brings it around to the beer. We are who we pretend to be. Of Shrek, but he felt he had to pretend to be a good husband and a good person for her, but that's who he was the whole time. We see that when she says the beautiful line of when she's like, "I want to be with you, but the ogre I married," and so they turn back into ogres because she's like, "I fell in love with you as an ogre. I'm gonna be with you as an ogre." Like
You think Shrek, like low-key, wanted her to stay like normal?
I don't think that he did, because
Okay.
I don't think because Donkey kept saying how sexy he looked, but Shrek never admitted how like besides like being in surprise of what he's had. Like I don't think he ever truly
buttocks.
said that he was like happy with the way that he looked.
Yeah.
So
He
I
was
think
pretty hot.
I mean, yeah.
How many beers?
That
a
one?
single Topo Chico.
What even is that?
Sparkling water.
Oh my god. He looks all like... Did you guys watch that last season of Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lifeguard guy?
Yeah.
He looks... They looked so similar. If that actor had a bigger jaw, they'd be twins.
He is rather handsome. Yeah, so this movie, I mean, I don't think that words... We don't even have words to wrap it up. It's just an emotional experience front to back.
It's perfection. The reason you guys want to take it beat for beat, you guys are right. Every scene is important. Every scene is amazing. It has its own comedic and pieces that you can't watch the rest of the movie without. There's a movie that you're never bored. There's never a moment of all right, this scene could speed up a little bit or whatever. This might have been too much. It was the perfect length for everything that they wanted to do. And we have our end credit scene where Donkey and Dragon reunite, and we get to see the mutant hybrid babies of Dragon and Donkey.
The Dronkies.
Which even Donkey says a little mutant thing. He calls them mutants.
Yeah.
So maybe it's actually in the X-Men universe.
Whoa. They have the X gene. I'm in.
But yeah, they're deeply frightening to look at. Almost as frightening as the Shrek children that we will see later on in the series.
And I believe the end of the next movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Something about the end of these movies and introducing horrifying looking characters.
I want to know, I can't remember, is there a musical scene that rivals Livin' La Vida Loca? And I can't remember the one at the end of Shrek the one. But that scene, the amazing scene of Donkey sings again. Is there something that's like that in the third one? I can't remember.
I don't recall either.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
Then we'll have a power rank at the end of the last one, number 4 of the musical moments in the Shrek series.
I already know that my top 2 come from this movie.
Yeah. Look around and you'll see a pretty baby.
So I think before we go into the pier, we got to talk about Far, Far Away Idol real quick. The DVD extra that came with this movie.
If you don't own the Shrek 2 DVD with the bonus features, go out and find it on eBay because it is 100% worth whatever sum of money it currently costs.
It comes with the iTunes version as well. I own this movie on Apple, and it comes in there as well. I rewatched it. Captain Hook singing "Hooked on a Feeling" by Blue Swede.
Yes.
Fantastic. Simon Cowell making an appearance.
The Three Blind Mice singing, I can see clearly now
the rain has gone. Yep. What else we get? We have Pinocchio singing Domo Arigato.
Yes.
Yeah. What song did the stepsister sing?
Oh yeah. It's
I wish it was Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
It was. I know.
It's
I don't
something
remember.
like that.
Yeah. And Prince Charming sings "I'm Too Sexy."
Yes. But you could only choose one of the main characters. You could only choose, Donkey, Shrek, and Fiona.
A true
or
sin.
Puss. Or, no, I don't think so. Or else you'd get Simon Cowell saying, I win, and he would sing his own solo number.
That's true. I don't remember what happens when he sings. But now it's going to bug me down. What does the stepsister sing? I don't remember.
Here, I'll pull it up.
Now I gotta know because it's gonna bug me. Because I just watched it right before we started recording this.
The Far, Far Away Idol. I just don't know. Was it actually Simon Cowell?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's the best part of this movie. Then.
It's fantastic. One thing I do want to talk about though, is throughout the movie.
My Way, he would sing. I did it my way.
So the stepsister's son, girls just want to have fun.
That's what it is.
But it wasn't the chorus. That's why I didn't remember it.
Yeah, he doesn't get to the chorus because he gets pulled off by then.
Yeah.
I like the fact that in the first movie, in the Shrek one, when Farquaad's interrogating the gingerbread man, he pulls off his legs. I appreciate that in this movie. He has icing stitches holding his legs onto his body in this whole movie.
The attention to detail, second to none.
I don't think I would have questioned it if he had fully normal legs. But the fact that they went out of their way to make sure that he didn't is beautiful.
Yeah, and then DreamWorks has just sort of coasted off of Shrek since then.
How to Train Your Dragon is good. I like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, but outside of that, like,
No, Shrek is their main thing. That's what DreamWorks
Shrek and
has done.
Flushed Away.
Another movie. Forgot existed.
I don't know. I don't know where to go with that. Honestly, I got nothing on that one. It's not the first Flushed Away reference I've heard this week, by the way. I think that's why I'm so blown away.
That's how you know you're hanging out with the right people.
Gabby made his Flushed Away reference like not that long ago.
Gabby loves terrible movies, so I don't. I
does.
believe that 100%. Yeah.
She's probably downstairs watching Geostorm right now. So I think as we hit over an hour, I'm gonna jump into the beer now, if that's cool with everyone.
Do it.
Sounds good.
So this beer, like I said before, is called We Are Who We Pretend to Be by Beachwood Blendery. So Beachwood has a brewery over in Long Beach, which I have had before, which is very good. This is a separate, they still own it. It's like a separate thing. The Blendery is a small batch beer producer, and they produce, they do more traditional methods. This is a 100% spontaneously fermented ale, which Dom and I tried to figure out what that was, and you did at the beginning before we started recording. It basically means they don't mess with the fruit before it's fermented, right? I think that's what we talked about.
They just kind of take whatever they're fermenting and throw it together. They don't try to not sanitize, but they don't try to control the environment. Basically. Yeah.
And this is a blend of 1, 2, and 3-year-old barrels. So there's 3 different barrels that have been aging for 3 different times, all blended into this one sour. It is inspired by the Belgian. I cannot say this word, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna butcher it. Belgian Guez tradition. It's a Belgian-style sour ale fermented and aged in oak barrels. So this one was a blended spring 2019 and brewed in Long Beach. And apparently you're supposed to keep it and serve it at a certain temperature. I don't think I did that. And I also didn't pour it in the right glass because it tells you what kind of glass to pour it in. I did not do that right. So, yeah, I mean, it's really, really good. I'd highly recommend it. It's a sour ale, so if you guys like sours, go for it. I'd highly recommend it. I got this one at, as I say every week, at High Times in Costa Mesa, California. And check out Beachwood. They're over in Long Beach, so it's just Southern California. Really, really good. Fantastic beer. So, yeah. Hold on. Oh, this came up. You're right. So that pop-up for the YouTube version was, we didn't do question of the week. So I'm going to do it right now. Thank you, Grayson, for asking about that. My question of the week.
Small bucks.
That's why I don't pay you guys at all to be on the show.
No.
Because I don't make money for this show.
Not yet.
My question of the week for you guys was, let's say we're at the end of 2020. So 2021, someone comes to you and says, hey, we're going to remake Shrek, and we want you to voice whatever character you want. In any of the Shrek movies, you can voice any of the characters. What character do you choose to voice in the remake of the Shrek series?
Dom.
Gut reaction is Gingy.
Gingy's a strong choice.
See, I'm right. My was Pinocchio, so you and I would have some great scenes together.
Hey, there we go.
My gut reaction. Oh man, in any of them?
Any of the 4 Shrek movies. I haven't seen the 4th one, so that's why mine's from the 2nd one. But
probably Lord Farquaad.
Okay, interesting.
I feel like you'd make a good Farquaad.
Yeah, very into Lord Farquaad.
See, my first one was Pinocchio. My second was Prince Charming.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of things that I could give comparable performances to.
You think you could be comparable with John Lithgow?
Yeah. Absolutely.
This is now a John Lithgow hate podcast.
What about, I just don't think that I could do Gingy enough justice.
Um,
I could see Dom doing a good job.
Yeah,
you get the pitch.
Yeah, if I went out with it right, I think I could.
Yeah.
I could be Reggie.
Reggie doesn't even speak.
Exactly. I just want to be a part of the set.
You want to mocap Reggie.
Yeah, I just want to be there. I just want to be in that moment.
I want to mocap Kyle. That's my new goal.
Do more than that to Kyle.
And he'd love it.
Oh, you know he would.
I mean, there's so many characters I would love to voice. I don't think I would be a good Shrek. I just don't. I couldn't do it.
It has to be Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Which is,
Too
you know,
strong.
like as we mentioned last time, it wasn't even going to be his role, but
Yeah.
it ended up working out perfectly.
That's the thing about these. I think these actors were so perfect in their roles. Like, I'm not the biggest Cameron Diaz fan, but she is perfect for Fiona.
Yeah.
So I think you can't remake these movies unless you have the actors, because they're always still young. Like, they're not old people. Like, they're probably like what, 50s, 60s first. Eddie Murphy, maybe.
50s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they could do it easily. Like, they're not young. They're not old. I mean, so like they could do a good job and they could do
Let's
it again.
get the
but
band back together.
Shrek 5 has been on the table for years, but I don't think
like
they're ever
Austin
gonna
Powers
do it.
4.
People want it to happen. I think the people in the movies want it to happen, but I just think it's studios going, I don't see it making enough money. It's like, I would
DreamWorks.
I would give them a blank check to make
Yes.
that movie. Fill
I'd
in what
line
you
up.
think is right.
I know there would be at least 3 tickets sold.
The three of us, midnight premiere.
Yeah.
We're there, not front and center. We're sitting right in the center of the theater, so we get the best sound quality.
Yeah.
Watch the
Absolutely.
I
shit
want
out
to
of
be
that.
immersed into the SCU.
Is there a way to shoot an animated movie on 70 millimeter film?
I hope so, because we're going to ArcLight.
We're gonna go to an ArcLight for this one. So I think that about wraps up Shrek 2. Thank you guys for being here. I think I am very excited to go through Shrek 3, and also to figure out what Shrek 4 is all about. That's gonna be fun.
I'm mildly less excited to go through Shrek 3.
I was very excited for 1 and more excited for what we just did today. I'm hesitant for 3 and 4 to see how that's gonna go.
I've
but I'm
actually
sure it's
heard
gonna be
decent
great.
things about 4, but 3, I know what to expect.
I know what to expect, and I think we're gonna have to spend a good chunk of the podcast on Immigrant Song.
Yeah.
It's
about
literally
it.
the only part I remember.
It's the only thing I remember from the movie, except for the high school scene of Arthur, I think is his name, getting bullied in high school. He's a high school loser. They make like stoner references. We'll talk about all that and more next week on the podcast. Don't forget we're on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. New episodes every Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So check that out, and Shrek 3 next week. One more time, Dom and Grayson, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.